Sustainable Development Goals to achieve the targets holistically. Outgoing chairperson of the African Union, Dr. Nkosazana Zuma, said in actualizing the target to give African youth a greater space to drive and participate in governance across the sectors, a special envoy will be appointed by AU to coordinate and mainstream youth in Africa. She commended the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, for strides recorded in Mali without loss of lives. A plaque was presented to the ECOWAS chairman and president of Liberia for the success recorded.
We must support the call by civil society for an African decade of reading so that the new generation may learn from and renew Pan-Africanism.
4 newly elected African presidents were recognized at the summit. They are Gambian President Adama Barrow, the President of Ghana, Akufo-Addo, Sao Tome and Principe, and Seychelles. Some former presidents of the country were present also at the summit. At the summit plenary, there were goodwill messages from the United Nations, Cuba, and Palestine. After plenary, the session went into closed door, and beyond other issues that borders on the African continent that will be discussed at closed door, key is the election of principal officers into the African Union Commission. From Addis Ababa, Umini Udan, NTA News.
And next to that, on the African Union Summit, the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has commended President Muhammadu Buhari for the generosity of availing the UN Amina Mohammed of Nigeria to serve as Deputy Secretary General. It was while addressing the plenary. Here again is Somini Oden with the report.
United Nations Secretary General described Amina Mohammed as an accomplished leader in international development. He said gender parity and women's empowerment is a top priority, noting that when you empower women, you empower the world. He said he is ready to work with the African Union, challenging the Union to come up with ideas on how best to strengthen the cooperation and partnership with the United Nations. Mr. Antonio said he will partner the AU to present a set of concrete proposals to the UN Security Council on predictable, reliable and sustainable financing of the African Union peace operations.
Africa also includes some of the world's fastest growing economies. And so I'm here to listen to you, to learn from you and to work with you for the people of Africa and the wider world.
Leader of Nigerian delegation to the 28th African Union Summit and Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyama, cleared the air on why Nigeria must and should be recognized, especially for the role she played in restoring normalcy to the Gambia.
At every stage, right from the outreach towards Jammeh, the mediating, President Buhari was driving that process, and he drove also the military contingency plan, and he also drove the process of using intermediaries as a fast-track approach, and he also took the decision that it would not be good for Nigerian judges to be sent to the Gambia. So that is really what happened. But as you know, success has many fathers, and failure is often an orphan.
Omini Udan, NTA News.
Leader of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, says all is now calm at the Senate as members of the ruling party are working harmoniously with others for the success of the Buhari administration for the benefit of all Nigerians. He said this shortly after his visit to acting President Yemi Osinbajo to brief him on efforts of members towards ensuring the passage of the 2017 budget.
It is also important that I come here to this office to tell the acting president and our administration that the APC caucus in the Senate is now a united caucus. We are ready as a caucus to support our administration. We are also ready as a Senate, that is both the APC and the minority parties, to work for the betterment of Nigeria. Our colleagues in opposition have been always supportive, and of course with the united APC caucus, it becomes easier for the Senate to function. So on the whole, It's about national development. It's about ensuring that this administration delivers on its campaign promises to Nigerians.
Also at the presidential villa was Imo State Governor Rucha Sokorocha, who gave advice to anyone with the ambition to lead the country to wait until the tenure of President Muhammadu Buhari ends. Similarly, Governor Samuel Otom of Benue State says peace has finally returned to the state with the understanding reached by indigents and herdsmen.
I called that we should support this government, and I made my point clear. President Muhammadu Buhari has a tenure, and he has a tenure to run for 4 years or 8 years, and as soon as he finishes that, I think it's just reasonably considering the sentiments of zoning, and Igbo should come into it, though I'm not an advocate of zoning.
The truth of the matter is that we must learn to be peaceful. It is only when we have peace that we can begin to develop our state and local government and our country. When there is violence, we don't know the extent that that will take us.
A delegation of the federal government's Victim Support Fund, as well as the House of Representatives Committee on Internally Displaced Persons, have visited the IDP camp in Oran, headquarters of Kalabalge Council area of Borno State, to commiserate with the people over the recent accidental airstrike on the camp. Emmanuel Ayimiru packaged the report.
The delegation, led by the Vice Chairman, Presidential Committee on Victims Support Fund, Tijani Tunsa, described the accidental airstrike as unfortunate in view of the successes recorded by the troops in defeating Boko Haram elements. He reiterated determination of the federal government in restoring normalcy in the affected communities. The delegation also visited the University of Maiduguri to condole the management of the institution over recent suicide attack at their mosque, in which a professor of veterinary medicine lost his life with others. Similarly, Chairman House Committee on IDPs, Sonny Toru, led other representatives to assure the victims receiving treatment at the Borno State Specialist Hospital of National Assembly's determination to restore peace in the Northeast and reconstruction of affected communities. They were received by Borno State Deputy Governor Maman Drikwa and commended the government for its reconstruction efforts in rebuilding the state. Emmanuel Ayimiru, NTA News.
And still on the situation in the Northeast, Director General of the Center for Management Development, Dr. Kabir Usman, has urged ministries, departments and agencies to support internally displaced persons as part of efforts to implement sustainable development goals. Dr. Usman, who is a development expert, said this at a news agency of Nigeria forum in Abuja. He said every agency of government should have a role to play concerning IDPs, noting that his agency has been involved in the implementation of the 17 goals through education and skills development as an integral part of the agency's programs.
In terms of IDPs in Nigeria, because we have a role to play. Even if it means we are going to train the trainers, of those kids, every MDA of government should have a role to play about that to the IDPs. And this is what I'm appealing for each and every one of them. So, and if you are doing that, of course, it's about alleviating hunger, about poverty, and about partnership, and also about education, about knowledge, about skills, about integrity. These are all to do the elements of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And we are working passionately, in areas of, upskilling. You see, the actual is a Nigerian workforce to make sure that we deliver the SDG.
Dr. Usman advised Nigerians to filter their needs and wants and see how best to translate the change agenda into the present situation. In the meantime, Borno State government has officially released 64 captives of Boko Haram insurgents, including women and children, to their family members after a de-radicalization program of 9 months. Deputy Governor Usman Mamman Durkwa presided over the exercise. Abubakar Muhammad Musa has details.
The Deputy Governor appealed to them to be law-abiding citizens and live in peace and harmony with their family members, assuring that government will continue to monitor them and offer assistance whenever necessary. He commended the effort of security agents for rescuing them from their abductors and the Ministry for Women Affairs and other NGOs for counseling and certifying them morally sound to be integrated back to the society. Alhaji Usman Muhammad Rukwa later presented them with a return package donated by the ICRC, which include food items, kitchen utensils, and undisclosed cash amount to each household. Chairman State Emergency Management Agency SEMA Engineer Ahmed Satomi Saleh said the captives have spent 9 months in the camp undergoing de-radicalization exercise, where they have undergone counseling by the state government and other NGOs. He said after undergoing de-radicalization program, they were certified and assessed to be reintegrated back to the society. Speaking on behalf of the victims, Aisha Alhaji Ganai Rima thanked the Nigerian army for rescuing them from the hands of the terrorists and the state government for taking good care of them, assuring that they will continue to live in peace with their family members. In Maiduguri, Abubakar Muhammad Musa, NTA News.
And 3 suspected Boko Haram members have been arrested in Zurmi local government area of Zamfara state. The commanding officer, 223 Light Tank Battalion of Tactical Operation Unit Gusau, Colonel Abdullahi Adamu, who confirmed this to newsmen, said the suspects were apprehended by the local vigilante in the area. Jamilu Ibrahim Gusau reports.
The commanding officer, 223 Light Tank Battalion of Tactical Operation Unit Gusau, Colonel Abdullahi Adamu, said the unit had taken into custody the 3 suspected members of the Boko Haram and were moved to the 1 Division Nigerian Army Kaduna for further interrogation. He displayed exhibits recovered from them, which include AK-47 rifles, over 600 live ammunitions, illicit drugs, beddings, a camel and some other belongings. Colonel Adamu said preliminary investigation revealed that the suspect may be connected to the fleeing Boko Haram members who were recently disbanded by the military from Sambisa Forest of Borno State.
From the account which we got from them before transferring them over, it's almost certainly no doubt that they are members of the fleeing members of the Boko Haram terrorist.
The Emir of Zurmi, Alhaji Abubakar Atiku, said the arrest of the suspected Boko Haram members was born out of the directive the Emirate Council gave to district heads in his domain to monitor and report any suspicious person or movement in their respective communities for prompt actions. In Gusau, Jamil Ibrahim, NTA News.
The Nigerian Air Force has carried out troops rotation in the theatre of operation in Maiduguri as part of efforts to achieve optimal performance and mental alertness in the line of duty. Haman Jabani witnessed the exercise at the Air Force base in Maiduguri.
190 troops are replacing their colleagues in the present rotation exercise, all of whom are combat ready and emotionally stable as they move from the NAV 913 at the NAV base Maiduguri to serve their fatherland in the theater operations. Addressing the troops, Air Commanding Commander Operation Lafia Dole, Air Commander Charles O, encouraged those going for the joint operation under the Air Force. He urged them to show high level of discipline, abide by rules of engagement, and channel their complaints through appropriate quarters.
It's supposed to be a 6-month rotation, but we have to extend it for some certain technical reasons. So far, they lived up to the dictates of the Air Force. None of them, we didn't have any casualty. And so far, they displayed the act that is expected of them in line with the instructions of the Chief of the Air Staff.
This is what we do all the time. A couple of months ago, we did the rotation of the troops in Jos, and so this is what we do. This is our duty, so we enjoy doing it.
The troops are drawn from all the units of the 5 commands of the Nigerian Air Force and are expected to stay for 6 months in the theater. In Maiduguri, Hamman Jabani, NTA News.
The Nigeria police says it is building more capacity to handle growing cases of violence against the vulnerable, especially children. This is the message of the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, to the opening ceremony of Train the Trainer workshop for police officers assigned to specialized police units on handling child cases. Aiding Justice reports.
Violence against the vulnerable, especially women, children, and trafficked persons, could be physical, sexual, and emotional. National Population Commission statistics shows that half of Nigerian children suffer physical violence. Majority of these cases are not reported, and the few that are reported needed standardized form of handling. This informed the need to train some police officers on these specialized desks. Nigerians were assured that the police will continue to respect the rights of the juveniles.
We should be able to protect the child from harm and abuse. Also, we should be able to support the child's continued development, rehabilitation, and reintegration.
Children must be able to trust that the police and the justice system will handle their cases effectively, sensitively, and with compassion.
Junctions like this to see children hawking. But the UNICEF message here is, it is the responsibility of all Nigerians to ensure that children are protected from all forms of violence, that the time to act is now. In Abuja, Edina Justice, NTA News.
The House of Representatives Committee on Public Accounts has advised the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to investigate alleged transfer of 4 billion naira from the account of the Industrial Training Fund without interest by Stone Bank. This was the resolution at a public hearing and a query by the Auditor General of the Federation. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo reports.
The Auditor General of the Federation's query is in 3 parts. The reason for the movement of the funds from the account of the Industrial Training Fund, non-payment of interest into the account, and efforts made by the agency to inform the bank. The Director General of the Industrial Training Fund, Joseph Ari, responded this way.
These funds were moved from one of the Industrial Training Fund's accounts to another without the authorization of the ITF, and it took the intervention of the CBN then, before the bank could reply to our letter of May in November, precisely 6 months after they accepted the fact that they had committed wrong, that it was wrongly moved, not with our authorization.
Deputy Chairman of the House Public Accounts Committee, Representative Baba Ibrahim, presided over the hearing.
We are going to direct the EFCC to investigate this transaction and for them to report back to us in the next 4 weeks. I hereby rule on this place.
The Industrial Training Fund, established in 1971, is empowered to promote and supervise Nigeria's human capital through the development of the technical aspect of Nigeria's labor force. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
And you can watch this broadcast live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. And still to come, school feeding program takes off in Ogun State. The details when we return.
The best deal in town. Glow is giving away 4G LTE smartphones absolutely free. Get this super stylish 4G LTE smartphone free when you buy a 48,000 naira data bundle. This stunning 4G LTE smartphone free when you buy a 60,000 naira data bundle. Or this state-of-the-art 4G LTE smartphone free when you buy a 75,000 naira data bundle. The ideal phones for 4G, 3G and 2G. Plus, with Glow, you always enjoy 4G for the same price as 3G. Hurry to the nearest Glow World for the best deal in town. Welcome to the new speed of life.
Hello?
Welcome to the M6 Challenge. Using your new Xiaomi M6, carry out everything on that list, starting now. Get to the door. Congratulations, you have passed the test.
Xiaomi M6 with a 5,000 milliampere battery that lets you go on for 2 days on a single charge.
Xiaomi M6, always in power.
Madam, the madam.
Welcome, sir.
Give me a bar.
Okay.
Correct. One or more. Same.
Okay.
Sophia take out enjoy times 4. This not the levels of MTN. I will for you. I will for me. I give you I will try for everybody. Times 4. I will for you.
I will for me. I will for you. I will for everybody.
MTN, don't go
MTN are woo for you. Every day na jolly. Anytime when you recharge from 100 naira, MTN go summer you 4 times your recharge. Where you fit take call, text, or browse. Meaning say you go get 4 times the value. Chai! Just dial *888 star the recharge pin hash to enjoy this better woo. This offer now for only MTN prepaid and postpaid customers. Terms and conditions they shall.
MTN, everywhere you go.
Vice Chancellor of the University of Technology, MENA, Professor Musbao Adewumi Akonji, invites the public to the university's 34th Founders Day and 26th Convocation Ceremony of the conferment of first degrees, higher degrees, and award of certificates, diplomas, and prizes to 8 graduates of 2015-2016 session on Wednesday, February 1st, 2017 at the main campus, Gidankwano. Pre-Convocation lecture. Topic: Science-based management safeguards for sustainable use of biodiversity resources in developing countries. To be delivered by Professor I. Bryce Sensing, Vice Chancellor, University of Abome, Calavi, Republic of Benin, on Tuesday, January 31st, 2017 by 10 a.m. at Coverton Lecture Theatre, Main Campus, Gidankwano. The original certificates of all graduates will be ready for collection immediately after the ceremony. For details, visit the university website www.futmina.edu.ng. Mrs. Victoria N. Kolo, Registrar and Secretary to the Council. Announcer.
Many more winners are celebrating this week in the AIRTEL Red Heart promo. Keep recharging your AIRTEL line daily and you could win 10 million naira and other fantastic prizes. Take the deal of the day to increase your chances of joining the league of AirTelionaires. The more you recharge, the higher your chances of winning.
My name don't change to Etelonia because like all those people that announce say they win now, me say I be winner. So if you want make your name change to Etelonia like me, make you quickly go there recharge. Red Hot promo, 10 million naira.
Promo runs till 3rd of February 2017.
AIRTEL, the smartphone network. To send and receive money across Africa in a flash, use Rapid Transfer today. To find out more, visit us online at ecobank.com. Move on up with EcoBank, the Pan-African bank.
Hello, dear. You've got the first signs of a sore throat.
Yes, and I'm afraid it could be signs of a sore throat.
Don't you worry. Just act immediately, but not with non-medicated throat sweets. Take an expert product. Take Strepsils. Look at what it does to sore throat germs compared to a throat sweet. Strepsils not only stops the germs from multiplying, it even kills them.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, sore throat. Stop a sore throat early. Take Strepsils.
The Future Assured project and its components, Get Involved, initiated by the wife of the President, Her Excellency Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, is not relenting in championing the cause of Nigerian women and children. Its provision of free medical screening, educational support, and the fight against malnutrition, especially in the Northeast, has indeed informed international recognition, partnerships, and awards.
We are very grateful and appreciative for your wonderful gesture you have accorded to us.
With Future Assured, Nigerian women and children are assured of a bright future.
Future is assured when we join hands to promote the health of our women and children. Get involved.
Get involved and support the Future Assured initiative. Future Assured, promoting and protecting the lives of Nigerian women and children.
Thanks for staying with us on NTA Network News. Now, the need for effective synergy between relevant stakeholders in the digitization process and the National Assembly is said to be crucial to the success of the rollover to digital broadcasting by June this year. This came when members of the House of Representatives Committee on Information, Ethics and National Orientation took a facility tour of NTA Jos Network Center. Yusuf Umar has the report.
Digital switchover from analog to digital transmission commenced in April 30th last year with a pilot project in Jos. 9 months down the line of the switchover in Jos necessitated this visit by members of the House of Representatives Committee on Information, Ethics and National Orientation to assess the switchover process, its effectiveness, challenges faced and how best stakeholders will help the system better. Briefing the members on the switchover, Chairman of the DG team, Mr. Edward Amana, NTA Integrated Transmission Services General Manager, Mr. Rotimi Salami, and the Director General of NBC, Malam Isaac Modibo, whose agency supervised the process, identified funding, infrastructural development, and the subsidy of set-up boxes as some of the key challenges affecting the total switchover process.
It is a process that's very, very expensive, but it will redound to the benefit of Nigeria because the system allows us to use television to even deepen the content of democracy.
Director General of NTA, Malami Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, while welcoming the House of Representatives Committee, says the choice of Jos for the pilot project of the switchover was not by surprise, looking at its contribution to the television industry in the country, a development he says NTA will continue to excel in that regard.
It is very significant that the honorable members of this committee are just today on this very critical function of the House of Representatives. Significant in the sense that Jos occupies a very special place in Nigeria's television ecosystem.
The chairman of the House of Representatives Committee speak.
Both the arms of government must work together. Either the management from the executive side, the career officers, the legislators and the judiciary. And part of what we are doing is how do we collaborate to make sure Nigeria get the best.
The members were taken around on a familiarization tour at the NTA Jos Network Center by the Director General of NTA, accompanied by Executive Director Engineering and that of Training and Capacity Building. In Jos, Yusuf Umar, NTA News.
A study aimed at ensuring Nigeria's readiness to mitigate HIV/AIDS drug resistance among those on antiretroviral therapy through viral load monitoring and other ways has been conducted by a team of Nigerian researchers. The research in collaboration with university teaching hospitals and international health institutions was funded by the United States Center for Disease Control. Health correspondent Rabi Abdallah has the report.
Drug resistance is an unpleasant phenomenon in the treatment of diseases. In the case of viral diseases such as HIV and AIDS, which Nigeria bears a huge burden, experts say the country must monitor and guide against drug resistance.
This has been reported globally in various settings. We're now using the first-line drugs. Some patients are already resistant to first-line drugs and they've switched on to the second-line drugs. The last option is to move to the third-line drugs, which is going to be very tough for most countries and the government. The first-line drugs are affordable, and the second-line drugs to some extent are affordable, but the third-line drugs are very, very expensive, and not only are they expensive, they have higher toxic effects.
The study, which commenced in 2013 and concluded in 2016, focused on examining the impact of antiretroviral therapy adherence patterns in development of HIV drug resistance.
I would like to see costings put in place in the future when it comes to the delivery of HIV programs once we have the results of this study published, so that we know what percentage of patients are likely to fail first-line regimes, and therefore we put it into the costings in terms of moving forward.
The need for Nigeria to prioritize local funding of research was emphasized at the meeting. In Abuja, Rabi Abdallah, NTA News.
The federal government's national homegrown school feeding program has commenced in Ogun State, with 1,554 public primary schools benefiting. The state government started the scheme with presentation of kitchen utensils to participating vendors for smooth implementation. Lekon Agbonde completes the story.
As one of the electioneering promises of the government, pupils of public primary schools from primary 1 to 3 would have access to a free meal once daily on school days to enhance learning. The state government contributed to the program with provision of cooking utensils to 2,968 vendors selected for the scheme on a single-digit soft loan basis.
I implore all stakeholders in the scheme of work to work together to ensure the program works seamlessly and surpass its commencement standard.
The National Program Manager, Homegrown Feeding Program, Mrs. Abimbola Adesomi, represented by Secretary to Ogun State Government, Mr. Taiwo Adeoluwa, promises government's commitment to sustaining the scheme.
This program has been well conceptualized in a way that, by the grace of God, it will be seamless and sustainable.
Speakers, in their goodwill messages, urged stakeholders to put to bear quality and healthy practices in actualization of the scheme. In Abeokuta, Lekon Agbode, NTA News.
And the federal government has commenced the enrollment to persons and cash payments, the enrollment of persons and cash payments to the poor and vulnerable in Kogi State under the National Cash Transfer Program. Francis Udojo reports that the 12 local governments of the state are benefiting under the first phase of the program.
The program has taken off in 2 local government areas in Kogi State, Adavi and Ajokuta, out of the 12 local government areas selected for implementation in the first phase, which is expected to capture more than 100,000 beneficiaries. To ensure that the data collected for the program tallies with the target group, the National Cash Transfer Team, headed by National Program Coordinator Dr. Temitope Sinkaye, embarked on an on-the-spot assessment to the benefiting communities.
Now that they've gotten the money, we need to begin to sensitize them and ensure that they comply with all this human capital area that we want the program to address.
The poor and the vulnerable in the benefiting local government areas, including 87-year-old Adiza Aliu, are already keen into the initiative.
Almighty Allah will help them.
I am Francis Udojo, NTA News.
Director General of the National Youth Service Corps, Brigadier General Suleiman Kazauri, has advised Corps members to take advantage of the skills acquisition training program being offered during the orientation course to equip themselves for societal development. He visited the NYSC orientation camp in Gombe State. Musa Abubakar reports.
The visit by the Director General to the Barge Bay Orientation Camp is aimed at ensuring Corps members are adequately catered for as they embark on a quest to serve the nation. The Director General, who revealed plans by the NYSC to collaborate with Central Bank of Nigeria and Bank of Industry on affording Corps members the opportunity to access start-up capital for small-scale business, advised them to respect the tradition and customs of their host communities. He urged them to come up with community development innovations that will impact positively on the people.
Just a routine inspection of our camp facilities. In fact, it's excellent. From what I've seen, especially the clinic, I think Gombe is one of the best so far.
Director General, who earlier inspected Quarter Guard, was taken round to see facilities at the temporary orientation camp. In Gombe, I am Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
The Nigeria Police now has a new Force Public Relations Officer. He is Jimoh Moshood, a Chief Superintendent of Police, who until his appointment was the Deputy Force Public Relations Officer. He was appointed by the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, to replace Don Awuna, who was recently promoted and appointed Commissioner of Police, Akwa Ibom State Command. Chief Superintendent Jimoh Moshood, who is a member of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, hails from Kwara State and holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Political Science from the Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. He was once Police Public Relations Officer, Federal Capital Territory Command, Abuja. Jimoh attended several courses within and outside the country, including in South Korea and China. And now for more reports on Network News, let's hook up with Lagos Network Center with Abdullahi sitting in tonight. Good evening, Abdullahi.
Good evening, sir, and thanks for joining us here in Lagos. Acting President Yemi Osinbajo has recommended day-to-day system of trials as a panacea to delays in the administration of justice. Osinbajo, who was represented by the Attorney General, and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami, made the recommendation at the opening of a 2-day stakeholder summit with the theme Contemporary Trends, Catalyst for Justice Sector Reform in Lagos State. Vera Chumba was there.
Acting
Acting President Yemi Osinbajo identified delay in the administration of justice as a major challenge that must be tackled by all relevant stakeholders in the justice sector. He urged lawyers and others to change their attitude and stand up for what is right. While alluding to plethora of statistics and judicial decisions, he said it takes a generation for cases to be resolved in Nigeria due to delays. He advocated hard punishment for deliberate act of delay aimed at stalling cases. The acting president took a swipe at some judges who would not sit on time and write early, lawyers who file frivolous applications and employ delay tactics, as well as shoddy police investigations.
I would like to emphasize that other problems exist, particularly regarding issues of access to justice and quality of justice. I hope we will use the opportunity of this summit to further discuss these problems.
Lagos State Governor Akinwumi Ambode said for any nation to experience economic growth, it must first have a functional judicial system.
One of our top priorities is to leave a legacy of a 21st century justice center driven by data technology, empowered by data literate judicial officers and legal service providers.
The Attorney General of Lagos State, Adeniji Kazeem, said the summit provides an opportunity to examine the current challenges and analyze prospective urgent reforms. In Lagos, Viera Chumuba, NTA News.
The Nigeria Customs Service Federal Operations Unit Zone A, Lagos, has intercepted 661 pieces of action pump rifles concealed with sealed doors. Comptroller General of Customs, Colonel Hamid Ali, who briefed the media on the seizure, said 3 suspects were arrested in connection with the seizure. Ademola Adoe has the report.
Comptroller General of Customs Hamid Ali said the container truck was intercepted by the roving team on the 22nd of January along Mile 2 Apapa Road. The truck was taken to the premises of Federal Operations Unit at Ikeja. Although the importers declared steel doors, the Comptroller General disclosed that after physical examination, it was discovered that 49 boxes containing a total of 661 pieces of pump-action rifles were concealed with the steel doors.
The document was configured to have been routed through documents so as to confuse the whole and create a part of the track to the record of the goods. Actually, the documents clearly state that the consignment, the container came from China.
Considering the fragile security situation in some parts of the country, the Comptroller General said rifles, especially pump action, are under absolute prohibition.
We have instructed our officers that no matter what, if we are going to do only 5 containers in the group, 5 containers, and make sure that any container that gets out of there is properly secured before it gets out.
3 suspects, Oscar Nokafo, the importer, Mahmoud Hassan, the clearing agent, and Sadiq Mustafa, who accompanied the consignment, have been arrested. He also disclosed that the custom officers at Apapa involved in the clearance of the consignment have also been arrested. The pump-action rifles, he said, will be handed over to the appropriate security agencies. In Lagos, Ademola Adeoye, NTA News.
You're watching NTA Network News, reaching you live from the Lagos Network Center. We'll have more reports ahead after this short timeout. Stay with us.
Amazing moms who identify and nurture the uniqueness in our kids. Indomie noodles, tasty nutrition, good for you.
Hello? Welcome to the M6 Challenge. Using your new Geode M6, carry out everything on that. Starting now. Congratulations, you have passed the test.
Gioni M6 with a 5,000 milliamp battery that lets you go on for 2 days on a single charge. Gioni M6, always in power.
Nigerians. Suicide bombers are not spirits. They are not ghosts. They are human beings like you and me. They live amongst us. They are your neighbors. They are your friends today, but terrorists tomorrow. So you must know your neighbor now. Security begins with you and me. Know your neighbor. Be vigilant. Be security conscious. Report suspicious persons, objects, and movements to the police and other security agencies. The security of our nation is a duty for you and me.
If you see something, say something. Nigeria, unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
We're back in Abuja with the rest of the news. The World Food Programme to create a food hub in Lagos for Nigeria and Africa, and the Nigeria Capital Market opens the week in the red. Details with Leah Katumba Batunde.
Hello and welcome to Business News at 9. The federal government says it will back plans by the United Nations World Food Programme WFP to create a food hub in Nigeria. The food hub, according to the United Nations, is to serve vulnerable people and communities in conflict-affected areas in Nigeria and other African nations. The Minister of State Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, disclosed this when she played host to the Executive Director of the UN World Food Programme, Ephraim Cousin. The minister stated that the plan for the food hub in the country was a good opportunity for business in Nigeria and the continent, as it will provide jobs and increased revenue for farmers, as they will have to stock up their food stores. On the challenge of telecommunications connectivity in the northeast, the minister assured government will address the logistics concern that was affected by insurgents to support the humanitarian operation for the communities there. Well, the federal government says it will reform the internal audit process in the ministries, departments and agencies by fully implementing the internal audit modernization process, which was mooted in 2010. Addressing a meeting of the directors of internal auditors, heads of internal audit units in the MDAs at the Treasury House recently, Accountant General of the Federation, Ahmed Idris, underscored the importance of the internal audit function in ensuring transparent and accountable management of public finance in the MDAs, regretting that over the years it has been relegated to the background. He tasked the internal auditors to improve on the quality of their reports by making sure they capture and report cases of financial malfeasance in the various MDAs. The executive order to curb immigration and travel from certain countries signed by U.S. President Donald Trump has continued to elicit negative reactions both in currency and stock markets. Now back home, the Nigerian Stock Exchange began the week in the red. Let's take a look at closing figures from the NSE. And that's business news for this hour. Thank you for watching.
And the federal government has said tapping the creative potential of Nigeria's young minds advances rapid economic diversification and promotes investment. Minister of State, Industry, Trade and Investment, Aisha Abubakar, stated this when she received a young entrepreneur. Abdullahi Suleiman Yaji reports.
At just age 10, Nelson Ashinze, a primary school pupil, has distinguished himself as a creative mind whose specialty in making bow tie, pocket squares, headband, and other fashion accessories has earned him recognition in the fashion industry and the attention of the federal government, which is keenly driving economic diversification through promotion of made in Nigeria goods.
We're going to make sure that he has the adequate training on entrepreneurship skills. We have our Bank of Industry, who also provide machines. So once the young man is ready for machines, we're going to help him access those machineries from Bank of Industry. Whatever support that he needs, we have NEPC when he's ready to export. We'll be there to support him. We're promoting Made in Nigeria.
As a minor, he needs to be properly guided. He needs to be placed in the right trajectory so that the benefits and the fruits of his intellect will not be abused.
I learned it from school.
Okay.
When I got home, I showed my dad. Then he now said that I'll have a bow tie company.
Since his debut in 2015, Nelson Ashinze, who is the founder of Nelson George Clothing, has utilized indigenous material and African prints in propagating Nigeria's rich culture in clothing. In Abuja, Abdullahi Suleiman Iyaji, NTA News.
Never too young to start off. Take another break for some more messages.
Pension benefits for public officers at state and federal levels and matters arising. This is the focus on NTA Tuesday Live this week. Tuesday Live, informative, interactive and engaging. Don't be told. Join us.
To the outer framers, the hat tippers, the turtleneckers, the fringe goers, you don't need to hide anymore. Try Dettol Even Tone. It cleans and helps to reduce the appearance of blemishes caused by oil, dirt and germs, giving your skin a healthy feel for an even better you. Dettol, be 100% sure.
The federal government's social investment program has begun. The poorest and most vulnerable in the land get 5,000 naira monthly, and phase 1 has started in 9 states of the federation. 200,000 unemployed graduates have been engaged in the N-Power Volunteer Corps, designed to engage 500,000 people. 5.5 million children will be fed regularly in the homegrown school feeding program, which kicked off in 3 states last year, with 9 more to be added this year. And under the Government Enterprise and Empowerment Program, GEEP, thousands of cooperatives, market women, farmers and enterprising youth have been receiving between 10,000 and 100,000 naira soft loans since November 2016. The Social Investment Program has begun. It can only get better. We promise change. Change is here.
The production, distribution, and sale of counterfeit and fake drugs is a corrupt practice and a crime against humanity. This has informed several measures and strategies to combat fake drugs, including introduction of anti-counterfeiting cutting-edge technologies to detect fake drugs on the spot. These technologies are being deployed to all the states across the Federation, as well as the internally displaced people's camps. The President, Muhammadu Buhari, and his team are committed to this fight.
The federal government of Nigeria, in line with its anti-corruption agenda and posture, will fight a total war against fake drugs and other unwholesome regulated products in order to ensure that Nigerians remain healthy and well.
Lend your support and join NAFDAC to rid the country of fake drugs and unwholesome regulated products. NAFDAC, safeguarding the health of the nation.
For a bit on the world scene now, 24 candidates vie for Somalia's presidency, 16 of them holding dual citizenship, plus 1 million signatures to stop US President Donald Trump's visit to the UK. Let's join Gabriel Odu on Global Tidbits.
As Somalia prepares for presidential election early February, 24 candidates have been cleared to contest the election. 16 candidates have dual citizenship, USA 9, UK 4, Canada 3, and 10 no dual citizenship. Reports say no diaspora candidate has ever won in the past. Top